Hello, everyone. I'll let you guys trickle in. Welcome. One of my favorite things to do while we're just waiting for everybody to kind of like enter the room is force our host to answer an icebreakers question. So this is Jacob, and this is a true curveball. He had no idea that this was coming. So Jacob, as people are trickling in, what was your favorite Halloween costume you ever wore?
My favorite Halloween costume that I've ever worn. I've worn a bunch of good ones in my time, I was fortunate enough to have a good list. I always had friends that would do it with me, like there was a group. So for me, I don't know. Probably back in the day, like middle school time, me and a couple of my friends were the Jonas Brothers. And I had like
Nice.
this big curly afro back in the heyday, and I just looked so much like Nick Jonas, and it was probably my favorite Halloween
Nice.
costume I've ever
That's
done.
perfect. My friends and I dressed up as Mario Karts one year. So we had like the boxes like on it. I was Luigi. It was really fun.
That's
All right,
incredible.
everyone. Yeah, we'll get started here. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Workshop Wednesday. This is really a time for you guys to kind of explore topics, problems, issues facing outside sales, and in a lot of cases, just see how you can operate in your day more efficiently. So that's kind of what today's focus is going to be on. Jacob is going to walk us through filters in Map My Customers. And we want you to kind of like look beyond the feature and see how this could actually help you in your day-to-day. Like Jacob and I were kind of riffing before this on, how filters can really just help you see visually all of your accounts just kind of disappear as you put certain filters on. And I've sat in on a lot of demos with Jacob. He is a master at filters. So I'm really excited for this masterclass he's about to put on. Please, please, please throw some questions in the Q&A and we will answer them live. Luke, that's a good question. I don't think your camera is supposed to be off, but I'll look into it. Jacob, take it away.
All right. So I'm going to start on the desktop experience, which is where I typically see a lot of reps do their pre-planning from, and a lot of sales leaders build their sales process like into the map here. And that's going to be like the overarching theme that we have with filtering and what we have set up here. So keep top of mind, this is my computer that I'm working on. But for folks that aren't using Map My Customers today, everything I'm showing you right now, you'll be able to do from your mobile device as well. So if you're out in the field and you're trying to fill gap time and filter by specific criterias, you can do all that there too. All right. But yeah, let's start off with the very first thing that you're looking at right now. My territory that I've built out around me here in New York. And, when you think about filters, really the whole point of it for us is that I don't want your team to have to dig through their notes and activities to realize where they should spend their time and why, and where my biggest opportunities are. The colors and the icons should all just point you in the right direction. So before we start breaking down this map by all the different filters that I'll show you guys along the top here, let me just explain what you're looking at. So for me with Map My Customers, I like to set up my icons where the green stars represent my tier A revenue accounts. So when I'm in my territory and I need to think of like my referrals, I can automatically say, okay, like when I'm up here in Queens, I can always reference American HVAC Corp. I've got other black circles over here. These represent my prospects. If they're familiar and in the same industry, they might even know each other. So it's kind of funny how filtering and segmentation all kind of correlates to different parts of the day in the life for a sales rep and a sales manager. So at a high level, the pins can mean anything to you, and sales leaders and managers can control that with our pin settings over here in the top left corner, where you can see I have the shapes of my accounts controlled by revenue and pin color just by the color of the accounts right there. So in short, you guys can really set this up any way you want to. This can be integrated from fields and properties that you already have in your current system. Or with Map My Customers, you can just send us over Excel files. And the very first day that your team starts using Map My Customers, this segmentation strategy and filtering process can be set up for them. So I'll pause right there. Any questions in terms of like the segmentation, and before we really dive into breaking this map down by the different priorities that I'll be working on, kind of like throughout the day today?
No questions yet, Jacob, but I love that you have kind of this mix of icons and pin color settings. Can you just talk really quick just in case someone has a question and they're taking a little longer to type? Can you talk a little bit about how you've seen other companies use a shape as opposed to a color?
Yeah, sure. So for example, one way that I see folks use shapes, it can just be defining like a vertical that it's in. So like all of my companies that are in one specific vertical can be this shape, and this shape would be a different vertical. And then colors, and I'm sure Kim could even hop in here and tell a little bit about this. We have a lot of customers that really like doing, imagine the way a stoplight works, like green as in go, yellow as in not priority, and then red like don't go near. So essentially like just also not only highlighting where you should go, but also where you shouldn't. So Kim, I'd love to kind of have you jump in here, like that stoplight methodology. Like how else have you seen that used here with colors?
Yeah, colors, I see a lot of people do it by status. So are you active? Are you inactive? So I can quickly know, hey, I've got a hold account close by. A lot of people like to do it similar to what you mentioned before, using that revenue, knowing I'm in the area. I always like to describe the colors as if you are in an area and you've got 30 minutes, how can I quickly look at the map and know I should go to Green Star versus yellow bookmark? Just creating rules that you don't have to even open the account to know which one's priority and where I'm trying to go.
Awesome. So if let me see, does anybody have any questions? That we just covered a lot right there with pin colors and icons. Let me make sure that no one has any questions on that stuff, or can we do it this way or that way, before I dive into breaking down the map and actually using some of the filter functionality here on desktop.
Yeah, keep rolling, Jacob. No questions yet.
All right, cool. So in the top left corner, this is where we will start to break down the map by whatever it is that is top of mind for us. But something that's really important to note, and that I hear all the time on sales calls, is people don't like having to click through different tabs of maps. They want one map that does everything for them. And that's exactly what Map My Customers is designed to be. If you want to, visualize all of your current customers, great. You want to see current customers that have deals in this certain stage, awesome. The best part about Map My Customers is that we'll be able to take in not only company information, but contacts and deals and activities all associated to these customers and prospects as well. So along the top left here, you can see I have this little filter button in the top left corner, and I can go in here and start, essentially just defining rules on what I want to break down my map by. Maybe I'm in a one-on-one meeting with one of my current reps, pre-planning for a trip that they have to the Northeast. So let's start breaking down my map by company filters. And what you can see here is I can just essentially start throwing in rules. I've got a few that I already have recently used here. So the more and more you use Map My Customers, we'll actually notice what filters that you're using. So we just can essentially, make it easier for you to access them going forward. So for me, right now, I want to say, all right, for this trip, let's focus on all of, the tier 1 accounts. And, right now we're running a promotion for accounts that are interested in this specific product line that we're working on here as well. So just like that, now instead of the hundreds of accounts that you guys saw here before, literally as you're adding the filters, the accounts just get removed from the map here. So now instead of the hundreds of accounts I had here earlier, here are the 10 that are top of mind. And now from here, it's really easy for reps to, use our lasso tool to build routes for these accounts while they're out there. But all of that pre-planning starts from filtering and breaking down the map by whatever the initiatives are, as that, continually changes throughout the year here. Any questions in terms of like cross object filtering? I know we just did companies here as well, but remember, you can also do these kind of customers that actually already have quotes currently open as well. We can get a lot more granular here if you would like to as well.
Yeah, I love that, Jacob. No questions yet. I'll interrupt you if any come up though.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, like something that you can see here along the top of the map is that what we have are saved filters as well. So saved filters, selfishly, I'm sure anybody else would say this, but I hate more clicks, and anything that removes more clicks from my life just makes my life easier. And that's exactly what we designed save filters to be. So you can see here, if this is going to be something that's going to be important for your team to be focusing on, or one specific rep, you can just go ahead and actually save these filters here. So let's just say, these are going to be the hot leads. And, from this experience, it's so easy to assign them. So I can assign them to, an entire team, specific people. And if you want to have that little ability to have this sit at the top of the map, you just click on that save filter button right there. And then all the accounts that you just label up would then be added along the top here. So great for process. If you guys have changing initiatives throughout the year, to just leave the filters on the top of the map so that your team knows exactly, right, when I'm starting this week or I'm trying to fill gap time while I'm out in the field over here, what are the other accounts that my sales management is kind of pointing me in the direction of? My marketing team is telling me these people are potentially raising their hands already, kind of take the guesswork out of your day right from there. Awesome. Key top of mind here too, you can see that these are just 4 of the save filters that I have. If I click on over here into the top right corner, you can have a whole laundry list if you want to. They're kind of interchangeable depending on the time of the year and what's important to you. We have some teams that are like, they work seasonally. So if they have big seasonal pushes, they're like, okay, like right before, the farming season or whatever it may be, we have to focus on these specific kind of customers that would buy these product lines. So keep top of mind, you can have the save filters sit at the top. You can add or remove them as you need to. And anything that you would have set up on your desktop or save filters, you can also view that stuff mobilely as well.
Awesome. We have a question from Luke. So can you add a personal or professional stop to your route? So let's say the territory is larger, my rep is traveling and knows they'll need to stop at a hotel somewhere between, this group of customers and then this group of customers. Or if it's a smaller territory, like this is a good example. Maybe grandma lives in Queens and I want to pop in between customer visits. Is it possible to do that?
So it's kind of funny. I see this done 2 ways. A lot of times, like it comes up on discovery calls where I'm bringing on like a new team that may not even be really too familiar with this territory. With Map My Customers, you can actually use our lead finder functionality to find hotels and restaurants. I see this used for like scheduling like lunch and learn events, but then also to just find hotels that are near me if I'm going to be traveling to this part of the territory. So you could easily say, all right, I'm over here in Astoria, Queens, what else could I essentially pull up around me? You can go ahead and, go like lead finder, just go hotel. And I want you to imagine, you're sitting at lunch over here in the Woodside area. And now you can go ahead and say, okay, great. Let's see what my options would be. And then right from here, go back and zoom in. Here's the hotel that I should probably stay at right here, Super 8. You can actually select the lead, add it to the records on the map so you can always reference it later on. And if you even want to put it on the route that you're working on right here for the day, maybe this, Jacobs Wednesday I'm working on, add as companies, and then that hotel is actually on the route for you too. So yeah, whether it's hotels, places to eat, we can easily help you identify where that is from the map view, but also you can do this while you have the route actually open on mobile. So either way, you can definitely add that stuff to your itineraries.
Nice. Thanks, Jacob. Look, if you have a follow-up, just type your answer up in there.
You say Luke has a follow-up?
No, I said if he has a follow-up, you can type it in there. So you may continue on your filters masterclass.
Okay. Filters masterclass. So we covered the saved filters. I think it's also important to cover the ones that are standard in Map My Customers here as well, because what you can see here, the more and more your team uses Map My Customers, the more powerful these filters then become. So along the top here, let me, remove myself from this hot leads filter that I created. What you'll actually be able to see here is that you can actually break down this map by all sorts of different things. So if I turn on, let's not just view companies, but view deals, we have this filter down here called deal status. And you can actually break this down by deals that are, we have this term called rotting. And rotting essentially means that if I have a deal that's been sitting in a stage for too long of a time that we define, I want that to be highlighted on the map. So for sales reps that have really big territories or hundreds of accounts to follow up with, this stuff happens all the time. And when that stuff slips through the cracks, the easiest way to just surface that is to just have something that's going to bring that up on the map for you. And being able to filter by that deal status with rotting or not rotting is another great way to, add things along the way where you're like, oh, I'm already over here. Are there any other deals that I should follow up on? Or maybe you can actually build entire itineraries just around deals that I have quotes currently open with in this particular part of my territory. So deals rotting can be extremely valuable for companies that are leveraging the deals object in Map My Customers, not only just to track your activities, but where these things are in the current life cycle, right? Are they negotiating? Quotes currently open? Did I just do my first pitch? Using those type of pipeline stages and Map My Customers can provide a lot of value to sales teams that are tracking a lot of different touch points and a lot of different deals that they're actively working on.
Yeah, I have a question for my own edification, Jacob. So if you said if they're tracking deals in Map My Customers, so if they have like HubSpot or Salesforce or Dynamics integrated with Map My Customers and they're tracking deals through both, would that also show any deals that are rotting in like Dynamics on the Map My Customers map?
Yeah, so essentially every time that we have someone who has Salesforce set up as the system of truth, we want to have the same sales process. So yeah, of course, like not only would we pull over all of the companies, the contacts, the deals, and the activities from those deals and records, but we would also want to set up the exact same rules for rotting and stuff like that from CRM as well. So yeah, one of the benefits of like having a major CRM like that and then us is that we can still follow the exact same business rules. You won't have inconsistencies between both platforms. And on that topic, something that, and this is a more recent release at Map My Customers, was, we have account segmentation by pin colors and icons, but something that also kind of aligns with what Mary is talking about here is alert badges. So another thing that we like to do, and I'll pull this up down here at the bottom of this navigation bar in the bottom left-hand corner, are alert badges that will sit on top of pins. So now you can see here that when I think about how I'm pre-planning, these little icons that sit on the top also provide fantastic leading indicators as to how I should prioritize my time. So if I have overdue activities or accounts are out of cadence, we can automatically flag it with these red pins, these red little alert badges that sit on top. If you have something that's about to come up, as in, like you should be reaching out to them soon, we can flag them with that yellow book, the yellow circle right here. And then we really have like a lot of companies that end up using, like, if you see more blue, these circles, that means you have next activity scheduled. That's amazing. The more of those next steps already lined up for a salesperson, they're doing a better job of moving things throughout their pipeline. In the end of the day, like, you can work your deals, but having that next step scheduled and, set out ahead of time is a great leading indicator of really organized territory management. So the more blue icons that you see here, the more successful we actually see reps, typically be in terms of building really consistent rapport with current customers and then really good follow-up on new opportunities that are prospects. Any questions on alert badges, cadences, and stuff like that?
No, that's awesome. Can you like zoom in on the map and just like show people what it looks like when it's like right next to a pin or icon?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so any of the alert badges you would pull up like that. You can see I've actually got 8 overdue activities over here at Figley and Sons. So yeah, any of those overdue activities would coincide with those accounts. And then, I can go right here into Figley and Sons and pull up all the historical information in the account right from here. All the activities that have been completed, dated, and timestamped. And if I'm a sales leader, and I'm seeing that this is overdue, maybe I'll just go over into the note right here. And, you can see here, I've actually dropped in some comments before. I'll go right in here and say, at Tony, where I do stand on new quote. So just, through account segmentation and some of these, alert badges and filters, we see a lot of teams removing a lot of duplicate efforts, and also just coaching notes are so much easier to have between sales managers and sales reps with just little features like that, oh, okay, look, I don't have to go through a long call report so I can just see the stuff on the map here. And then all that data is just really actionable and we can communicate through the platform as well.
Awesome, love it. So one of my favorite things I saw you do, Jacob, was when we were sitting in on a demo and you showed the location filter. Can you kind of show how that works and how you've seen customers use that before?
Yeah, of course. So let's go back and let's just say I'll do the same priority filter here. And let me reload my screen. I got some slow Wi-Fi in my house. So if I have a specific territory pulled up here already, and I'll click on clear again and we'll pull up my priority accounts. Mind you, like I'm zoomed in on that one area, but we have priority accounts across the entire country. So a lot of the times when folks are using the location, specifically what Mary is talking about here is being able to break down the map and then use this nearby filter and say, okay, well, maybe I'm planning a specific event, right? Who are all the specific kind of customers that I might be able to invite to this event? Or, I'm planning a, kind of a road tour right now. Who are all the people that I can see in a specific area that I know I'm staying in? So for me, I'll just go in here and say, okay, let's do everybody within a 20-mile radius of where I'm currently located here. And now break down the map by 16 accounts now that I know that fit into the criteria that I want to in that area. So yeah, the location intelligence ends up being not only is equally important for like a sales rep while they're out in the field, but if you guys are coordinating like larger events, lunch and learns, whatever it may be, having that kind of insight all built into the same experience can be super useful as well. Kim, how else do you see folks use the location radius and stuff like that? I'm curious what you see on CS.
I'd say one of the big ones is pulling lists of people if you're doing in-person events. So if you are looking to run marketing campaigns, even sometimes marketers like to get their hands into Map My Customers and say, you know what, we're running a specific promotion, it's regional. Maybe you have an in-person event that you want to send invites out to, and it's realistic that someone within a 10-15 mile radius will make the journey out. So they'll use it like that. You can even go in the upper right corner of that list view where it says records in view, and just quickly pull that out into an export. So even if your marketing users are not in Map My Customers, you're able to get them that quick list, any kind of geographic lists and things like that.
Awesome. For the companies that I see use Map My Customers and like a CRM like HubSpot or Microsoft Dynamics, there's also a benefit to breaking down the map by, all these criterias and then that location, and then also using this lasso tool to batch edit. And what I mean by that is, since Map My Customers and your CRM can be connected bi-directionally, you can see here as I scroll on down to custom fields, I want you to imagine instead of, website or year-to-date sales, I actually see sales teams that have like marketing campaigns put in here. And if they just change a drop down to like June marketing campaign, Map My Customer serves as the trigger. And then for all those accounts that have then been turned on to that campaign, their CRM ends up shooting out that email blast to them as well. So yeah, there's a really cool use case that I see for the sales team, but then even like the marketing folks and admin people that use Map My Customers, the batch edits broken down by those criterias are really, really efficient when they're kind of like thinking more like based on like efficient like territory planning and how they need to kind of adjust for planning and in terms of new events and things like that too. So yeah, definitely something that's fun to have when you have Map My Customers integrated into other systems. I will exit lasso mode. We've covered a lot there. Save filters, batch editing, alert badges. And I know sometimes I talk a little fast. Is there any other questions that I can help with at this point?
No, this was great, Jacob. You did perfect masterclass. Loved it. Loved seeing your use cases for how you use filters. I learned a lot just from watching you do demos with these. Since we don't have any questions, I'll wait for a couple minutes here. Thank you so much for attending another Workshop Wednesday. Please reach out to Kim, Jacob, or myself if you have any questions or any topics that you'd like to learn more about. We're going to be bringing on some more guest speakers in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks so much for attending. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Jacob. You did awesome.
Thanks, guys.